Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Nah, Baka.
What's up, guys?
What up?
How's it going? It's been
Good. We're back.
We missed last week. Yeah, we missed last week. We're back this week. Okay, cool. Oh, so we should have 2 weeks of stuff that we did to talk about, right?
I do.
Kinda.
Kinda. Go ahead then, Oak.
I
'cause
do.
you
I was
probably
the
did
one
more
sick.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you probably did more than we did because most of last weekend we just laid around the house.
I actually got to try out Deathloop. I've been playing that a little bit. It was one of those where it was like I was watching people play a little bit because I was trying to determine whether or not I was going to like the gameplay because I didn't really care for Dishonored. And now I'm thinking, did I just not care for Dishonored because I wasn't in the mood to play a game like Dishonored, or what's the deal? But the acting in the plot line in this game, I absolutely 100% love. Like, the way the game is designed is brilliant on so many levels. You don't know sometimes if you're coming or you're going based on how things are written, because you got this whole death loop thing happening. And the story seems to just like get more and more complicated the further you get through. The humor in it makes it just because your main character, I feel like, reacts the same way any of us would in such situation. Just this whole what the fuck is happening right now, because it's they do a really good job of the writing to kind of get you into what's to kind of get you started, and then as you progress through it, your character's figuring out what's happening is the same time you are. And they did a really good job of making it feel realistic. The stealth parts, there are parts that need to be stealthy,
Yeah.
and there are parts that you don't have to worry about stealth. Just kill everybody, have a nice day.
Those are my parts.
Just don't die.
Oh wait, maybe not.
It's surprisingly, if you know the weaponry, like you learn the weaponry and stuff, it's not that hard to kill somebody and move on. And they do a really good job of being like, oh, here's a heal station, or here's some little healy things that you can grab and heal yourself as you move from point A to point B. So it's not that bad. There's a time sequence, not like, so day sequence. So, cause it's all takes place in one day. So you have morning, noon, afternoon, and night. And not only does the day change, like how the world looks in each one of those, the weather changes in each one of those. So it's really weird the way it's set up, but it's also really cool because there's certain things you can do at one part of a day that you can't do at another one, and you have to figure those sequences out. So it's really nice the way they did it. I also have played, I got to play a little bit yesterday. I haven't got to play that much. I'll probably play a little bit today as well. I got to play Halo Infinite's multiplayer beta that they've got going on right now, because I was invited into it. From a beta standpoint, it's definitely a beta. I'm on the Xbox Series X. It looks fantastic. Like, for being a beta, and a lot of times they're just like, we're gonna dumb down the graphics as much as we can, and they did to a degree, but for the most part it still looks really good. And gameplay wise though, the only thing that I have to bitch about it, the guns feel good. They have a thing called Academy that you could go in, pick up the guns, and then they're like basically trials of each one of the guns, so
like
you can kind of test them out. Yeah, it's like a shooting range, but has different things. Like, one will be things are stationary and you're shooting them and you're trying to get as many as you can. Another one's they're moving across the screen and you're trying to shoot as many of those can. And then another one is kind of a combination of different stuff going on. So it's like it's pretty brilliant the way they're done. Their bots are pretty brilliant, the way they're created. The new weaponry though, I really like. I'm still really bad with their sniper. I've not been good with a sniper since Halo 3. That was the last time I was good with the sniper in Halo World. Right. But it was it's been pretty good. the uh the actual gameplay itself, like playing with other people, the complaint I have, and maybe it's I'm just not remembering Halo correctly, but I feel like it takes way too long to kill people.
Okay, I've watched some Halo, some players, and I actually 100% agree with you. Watching the combat, it's like, wow, that feels like the fight, the time to kill, it just feels so off to a Halo game.
It's almost like they did it to create longer games in a way, but at the same time, and I actually, we were kind of worried about the look of the shielding and how the shielding broke and stuff like that. I actually like the shielding because what it does is everybody has an outline of what color if they're on the opposite team or not. Everybody's their normal, whatever you choose as your armor, that's what you look like to everybody. But you're either gonna have a blue outline or a red outline,
is that
depending on whether you.
Or is that in team?
That's everybody.
That's
no,
weird.
It's team. So you can tell immediately if somebody's on the opposite team because it's just a red outline.
It's probably because they're gonna try real hard to make their money on cosmetics, and if you can't see it because you're playing team.
Well, I mean, it's free to play, so they have to make their money back. So I'm not
saying don't make your money on cosmetics. I'm just saying that seems silly to me because I mean, the whole idea behind it is it used to be like red and blue. It's pretty easy to tell which one's your teammate and which one's you're not.
Well, the only one I have a real trouble with is the overshield makes them white. So like when you put an overshield on, it's like this big bright white person that's going, and it's very hard to see what hue that color is if it's got a red or a blue look to it. So they need to tone that down a little bit. But the when somebody's close to them breaking, they're literally one big red shield. And if you're close to breaking, you don't have to necessarily look at the bar at the top of the screen and listen. You can actually even see on your arms because you're going to be this bright blue color that you're about to break, and be more vulnerable. So it's kind of I actually like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. They've added some other stuff I don't care for. When you start running, there's stripes on the screen. You can take them off. You can turn them off. So basically, like, I'm moving fast, so
it's your sprint
which is fine if I'm playing a single player. That doesn't bother me, but in a multiplayer, it bothers me. There's a lot going on with the reticles when you zoom in. There's a lot of stuff around the outside that they filled in. They don't have an option to turn that stuff off. Like, I'm fine that they put it in. Just give me an option to get rid of it when I'm playing.
They tried to make it look
because some people are going to like it and some people aren't. But give me the option to get rid of it. So that's some stuff they've added into it. But the overall, like, the gameplay itself has been really fun. Capture the flag. I really want to know where these people have been playing Capture the Flag. They're running with the fucking flag. Where have you been? You hop, you let that son of a bitch go as far as you can, and then you run behind it. Then you do it again, and then you do it again. They're running with the flag. What is wrong with you people? It's killing me. They had, but there's one of the things they did too. Like, so if you make a kill, it puts kind of a red X to show you the kill. The design of the X is nice. It's instead of just being like this real honky red X that's just like across the top of the screen like they did with that Alien game that recently came out. It's got kind of a tapered ends on it, and it's just kind of subtle, but it's there. And it's larger than the white X when you're hitting somebody normally. So I'm fine with that. Like, some of the things they did really did well. The new gadgets are fun. The grappling hook, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I love it. Especially when I figured out that you can grappling hook a person and it pulls you toward them, and then your character automatically will just punch the shit out of them, and it does a shit ton of damage to them. So you can kill people that way. Some of the other elements that they've done that are in there, they've added a grenade that basically destroys shields. So you throw it into the middle, and so let's say there's 3 guys standing in an area and you throw it there, all their shields start to deplete. when they're in there.
You're
'Cause-
talking about
power-
the energy drain,
Yeah, the
right?
power drain.
Yeah, but the way it's done, it looks like lightning. It's
Like the power drain, how it
The
had the
big
blue lightning
blue-
around it.
Yeah.
yeah, but it doesn't look the same. I promise you. But yes,
It
I know what
does
you're
the
talking
same.
about. But no. Yeah. So, but the way that they've got the brute ones, the ones with the little spikes in them, the spike grenades, plasma grenades, regular grenades, and then those, and then they have a some of the other things that you can drop. One is a shield. I'm not really sure if I like the shield or not. I've had to pick it up a few times because nobody seems to be grabbing it. And so I'll just throw it out in the middle where there's a kind of a choke point that a lot of people are at. But the shield, when you drop it, instead of it being like the big dome that we used to have, instead it's just one, you're right in the
I
front,
had that too.
and then
in
you can
Halo.
shoot out in which Halo?
In Halo 3, it had the one little panel thing, but
Oh,
you
the
couldn't
deployable
shoot
cover?
through it. Yeah, the deployable cover.
Yeah,
Oh no.
deployable
This
cover.
is different than that one. I know what you're talking about now.
It's the deployable cover and the bubble shield.
So
You couldn't
basically, they
shoot
just
out or
meshed them
through.
together. It seems like
Yeah.
because the bubble
Yeah,
shield
and
you
it's
could shoot
larger.
out of.
It's larger, and then you can shoot out panels of it. So if you're shooting in one panel, you can shoot out a panel of it and still hit somebody through where the panel shot out, but you can't necessarily hurt them from the other ones. So
Like I said, I watched a bit of it on accident. Like the
On
person I was watching,
accident?
just the
how
person
do
I
you
was watching,
accidentally watch that?
because sometimes I don't like fully pay attention to my side screen, and then I happened to he started playing it, and I was watching. Now you play a lot of Call of Duty games. Does this feel closer to Call of Duty, the Call of Duty style, or does it actually feel like a Halo game?
It feels like a Halo game, but I do feel like they're catering to COD people, if that makes sense.
No, I
They
get
have
it
gone-
because that's their audience that they have to try to target.
Yeah, and so RB is no longer the reload like we talked before. They did make X reload, but RB is your special now. So when you if you're doing if you've got the grappling hook, you hit the RB and do it. But you can keybind those however you want to anyway.
I think in my opinion, I think that's the wrong way for Halo to go. Like, it feels like they tried to go Call of Duty audience, where you want something more like Apex, where Apex was like, we're doing our own thing, we're going to develop our own style, and that worked really well because it carved out their own audience. And Halo feels like they're behind.
But I would also argue the fact of Apex has its own feel, but it still feels like Call of Duty
Call
in
of
certain
Duty.
points.
Yeah, the sliding,
and so
the
I
jumping, the things
and I
like
think,
that.
And I think Halo has to modernize. They
I
do
think
have
there's-
to modernize.
I think there's a balance
because-
of modernizing it and keeping your identity.
But I will tell you right now, flat out, if you looked at me right now, based on the way that I can play both games, and you asked me to play Splitgate or you asked me to play Halo, I'm playing Splitgate, and I'm a massive Halo fan.
Which one
But
is?
it's-
That's a perfect. Which one's closer to Halo? Splitgate or Halo multiplayer?
Oh,
Which one
Splitgate.
feels okay?
Splitgate's closer to the original Halo that you know.
Okay,
Yes.
so I find that
Yeah.
really ironic.
But I feel that the game pacing so much faster in Splitgate, and I think and the guns feel so good and familiar because they're the old school versions of guns, right? Like I
That's
do
what they
not
should
like
have-
the new shotgun can fuck off. I hate it.
that
I
bad.
told
I
you,
hate
why
the
would
new
you mess with
shotgun because it's
perfection?
like it's not the shotgun you're used to, like
Where it's got some
feeling
pump
wise.
to it, and you know
Yeah,
you're
like-
close, someone's dead.
Yeah, and it's like, and I got killed by it when I was close, but I was also near death at the time, so I don't know how much damage it really took off. And I tried to shoot somebody, and granted I was a decent distance, but I know with the old one it would have caused a lot more damage. So I don't know if that's because they've added added more shielding, why it takes so long to kill some people or what. But the sniper works the same. If you headshot somebody with the sniper, and then they have another one that's I can't think of what it's called, but it's essentially a gun that it's a power weapon that just shoots out it almost looks like, it's not a laser, it's more like lightning. It's
Is
strange
it's-
looking.
Is it a
kind of-
beam rifle?
Yeah, it's the Covenant beam
No,
rifle.
no, it's not a beam rifle.
It's replacing the
it's-
Covenant beam rifle is what it's doing.
I gotcha.
Yes, essentially that's what it is. But it's and it feels great. But both of those headshots, insta kills. And then 2 shots to the body, just like the old sniper was. But everything else, the AR, the BR, everything feels like it takes so many shots to kill people. And maybe it's just me not remembering Halo long, since it's been so long since I played fucking Halo.
From what I saw, it feels like what you're talking about, because like I was watching him shoot and then go to melee and the person didn't die. In old school, it's like, man, you tap somebody 3 times in the head and then you melee them, they're dead. But it was pop, 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 their shields are just about to fall off, melee, and then the dude's just losing his mind going, what the fuck? He should have been dead.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
so
Well, and they've got some other stuff they've got to work on too. They've got it's an exploit of that somebody's figured out, which is basically that you can melee, go to change your weapon, and then melee again quickly. So it's literally
like
looks, if you do it the right way, it looks like you're sitting there trying to hit somebody just in the, and you can do it, and it's 2 quick melees that somebody's dead. So you can literally melee somebody to death with no spot in between. It's like you shooting a gun twice. It's so fast.
So does the
Watching
melee
people
from
do it.
behind do a 1-shot kill like it used to?
I've seen somebody get meleeed from behind, but I don't know what their shield was at the time, and they did get insta killed. So I'm not sure what their person, like anything, what they were doing shield wise, but yes, it did look that way.
Okay. Because that was
I did
fun.
not get the opportunity to do that. I was dying a lot to start with because I could not stand how long it was taking to kill people. I was so mad because I'm like, why is this person not dead? I'm literally laying into their head. And that's the thing too, is the AR, they've almost made the AR to where it has to be burst in a way, because you're shooting the AR, and as it gets to the end of its cycle with the clip, it almost becomes sporadic with it instead of centered. And I'm like, no, why is that a thing?
Well, the AR sucked anyway, so
it did, but everybody starts with an AR and a pistol, and there's only certain places to pick shit up around the sides, and they're all on walls. So it's like
that's
you
weird.
have to either pick something off the ground or do that. Do what?
That's weird. They used to have in Halo
Yeah.
3 there was like stuff everywhere. Some of the bigger, more important weapons were like specific choke points, but like you spawned in
map
Valhalla
designs?
and there's like 2 or 3 weapons just in the base itself.
See that's how they were smart with their map designs back in the day. They created points of contention. Like if somebody, and they would make it so that they respawn constantly, so you're always fighting for artificial positioning in the game to try to get yourself or your team these weapons. Even if you had to run in, kill somebody,
where you do have the
and have somebody grab
timers.
it behind you.
You do have the timers that'll set up for power weapons, and then they have at least on one of the maps, I never paid attention to the other ones when they did this, they had like the center point that was in an open field on one side of the map, and you would hear it go, you hear your AI, which by the way, I do love the AIs. The AIs are great, and you can switch your AI, switch the way the voice actor that's doing it. And I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds like the guy that is doing the Spider-Man games and playing Peter Parker. That's who it sounds like. And whether it's him or not, I'm convinced that's who it is. And
That's who you're gonna imagine it is.
He is so sarcastic, and I love it. But like if you use the needler, which feels fantastic, by the way, the needler, you'll kill somebody with it and he'll go, I had nightmares about that gun. And like different things like that. I'm like, yes. So, or you can get like one that's straightforward. You get ladies, guys, they have all different types of stuff for those. But that one piece that's in the middle has stuff that rotates that it gives you power wise. All of it is, I don't think any of it's like big weapons, like power weapons, like a rocket or anything like that. They do have another gun, the skewer, I think is what it's called. And it is essentially a 1-shot kill torpedo. That's the only thing I can tell
It's
you what
like
it
the
is.
rocket
It's like a
launcher.
rocket
It's like
launcher.
you- No, it doesn't explode. It's literally you aiming and shooting somebody and killing them, and you look at
So
it.
it's
and
a
you go,
harpoon gun.
But
Yeah.
it's the same size as a Spartan laser. It's
So
so,
it's a
weird.
really big harpoon gun.
Yeah, and then you have another one that's called like Heat Wave or something like that. And the way that gun works is you can shoot somebody with it, and it's basically catching them on fire, if you will, but it's without really catching them on fire, and it's just depleting their stuff. Or you can hold it down, and if you hold it down and it hits the ground, it literally catches an area on fire.
So they gave you
So
flame
a
grenades,
modern-
but in a launcher.
No, a modern incinerator. It's the
Yeah.
big walk around one where you
Yeah.
can flame somebody or just burn the ground.
Well, but this
Whatever.
this shoots out like a gun instead of a flamethrower. So it's they added some guns in there that are fun, and I'm interested to see how they correlate with the campaign. But at the same time, I don't think they are. I think they're just gonna be random shit you find on the campaign and be like, okay, here you go. But they have a I don't know. I'm optimistic in what they're doing, and I hope they listen to us. So in next weekend, when they have the next set of stuff going, I'm interested to see what changes they make. But I guarantee you, everybody that I've talked to about this, everybody says it's taking too long to kill people. And I think that's why it doesn't feel like Call of Duty. And that might be why they're saying we're not like Call of Duty. It doesn't,
You can last longer.
you can't
have
kill
more
somebody
chances
quick.
to
And it's
save
like, no,
yourself.
I'm okay with killing people fast. I want to get back into the game quicker. They got rid of, and maybe it's just me being me, but I miss the countdown at the beginning of a match.
They don't have that?
They don't have the countdown anymore. Now
Oh,
it's
that thing is dumb. I'm just gonna say this: the little introduction to the matches is really dumb, and it really feels like Call of Duty, that style where everybody gets to do their little opening pose and show off, and then
we're not doing that. It's automatically doing it. That's the
I
bad
know
part
it's
about
just
it.
dumb. It's just
So
my opinion
well, and
on
the
it.
thing is like I wouldn't have a problem with it if they would do, because Call of Duty actually has a counter, but it's and the way it's set up with Call of Duty is you can turn around and look at the person next to you or whatever, and that's the same way it is with Splitgate. Turn around next person, and then it has a counter, and you're ready to go. Well, this they have an intro, and it's like, here's this person, here's this person, here's this person, here's this person, and then it zooms out, shows all four of you, and then it zooms in into your helmet. And when it zooms into your helmet, the view changes to you going.
I
And
get
it's
what they're
like-
trying
and
to
I'm-
do, and it's another way to show off cosmetics to everybody, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
It's
could
just-
like. It
I'm
kills
fine with
me,
them
like,
doing that, but I don't want the zoom thing at the end. I like show the thing at the beginning, each one of the people, pull it up, and then give me a counter in first person view so I know exactly so I can pick where I want to go and then go. I don't need the zoom thing to happen. I just don't need it. It's just dumb to me. Anyway, so I did play that. And then I also played I played Gas Station Simulator. Which
you think I have a
is
problem. Go on now.
very fucking addictive. Do what now?
I said, you think I have a problem.
It's fun. It takes place, we're pretty sure, in the 90s, like 1990, and somewhere in California. And the only reason I know that is because California is written on the side of the police vehicles. So I'm like, okay, because they're like California Highway Patrol, and I'm like, cool, chips, got it. So it's they're on the side. You've got this dick bag, just a dick bag of a child. Yeah, I said it that way. That is spray painting the side of my building, and his name is Dennis.
The menace.
And Dennis has,
God damn it, Dennis.
yes, and so you'll like at first it's like a picture of a bird, or really bad drawn bird, or he might put King Dennis on the side of something. But as the game progresses, he'll draw pictures of like, you'll just see, like, I guess it's a duck penis. I don't know what you call this thing. Like, it's a penis with a bill on the end of the on the top of it, and that's exactly what's with, or poop. He'll have poop with little stuff coming out on the side of it. And I'm like, Dennis, you suck. So you chase him with the broom. You try to keep him from doing this thing.
Report that vandal to the
yeah.
cops, man. You got chips? Tell them about it.
I got cops coming in constantly. I had 2 cops inside my store. One who has a serious serious nicotine addiction that I don't even. He bought 4 packs of cigarettes and like 1 thing of Skull, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then the other one that was in there, he has like, I mean, he's got a sugar problem. And if I had been selling pastries and donuts, I know good and well that's what he would have been buying. But so he had it. And then I had one at the gas pump outside. Dennis literally painted first by the one at the gas pump. Did that guy do anything? No.
Your cops are useless.
So, yeah. Yeah, the cops are useless in this game. I've got to chase him with a broom. I'm afraid I'm going to get arrested for chasing a child with a broom. You know what I mean?
Get a super soak. Get out of here, kid.
Yeah, but overall the game's like really fun and addictive because what they've done, I feel like they've done, is they've taken several different simulators and kind of just meshed them together and allowed you to be able to kind of navigate through all that different stuff. And they're supposedly adding stuff later on in the game. So I'm excited as I play through it to see what else is available. And then of course I played Green Hill because that's what we do on Sundays. And so we're progressing through the storyline a little bit on it. We've actually gotten back to the area we originally started in the original Green Hill, and we're currently in that area. And I died horribly right after No Pants Left last time. So yeah, just yeah, it's a totally different game in this version of it, and they're supposed to be working on a 3rd expansion of the game, and hopefully it means that we'll be working on a new game after that. But anyway, that's what I got.
We Chicken and I might not have done a whole bunch of stuff, but one of the things that we did last week was that we picked up a new game to play with everybody, and it's called Haunt Chaser. Okay, I was like, I think Chase is in the It's basically,
which is a ton of fun, by the way, for me to play the bad guy.
It's a 4v1, and the 4 people are a team of paranormal investigators, we'll say. And you're supposed to, your objective as them is to come into the map. You've got to find a bunch of pieces of this entity's like totem thing, put it all together, destroy it on an altar, and then that'll open up where the entity's heart's at, and you have to make it to the heart and destroy the heart before the entity kills you. And then the entity's objective is obviously to friggin' murder you. And there's, whoever made this game has a real good grasp on how horror games should work. I kind of wish they would make a single player thing, because it would be very like layers of fear-ish. Like, you've got stuff that'll happen sometimes but not happen others. Some are very subtle, some are like jump scares. It's really well done for a scary game. And this is coming from somebody that loves scary games but also hates them because they scare the shit out of me. Like, they always work as intended. I'm the prime target right here. But that game has such a learning curve for the entity player. Like, for the people players, I feel like sometimes it's a little, not necessarily too easy, but you get a lot of the same objectives. So, like, once you've figured out how the puzzle works, you know you're going to get that objective, like, 4 or 5 times repeatedly over the next 4 or 5 games. So it's like, go to the church and find the statue. So the statue is in, like, one of 2 places in the church. So it's always going to be there. So it's kind of, like, it makes that side a little bit easy. But then on the ghost side, Chicken is so far the only one that can play the entity proficiently. Because for some reason...
for the record, Red and Baka have both tried. I think Grif has tried,
I
too.
tried it, too. Cat's not interested in playing that side of it. That's fine. I think...
Grif played and got trolled by her son.
Yeah, inadvertently got... That was great, because I was playing on my TV, and he loves to play with the remotes. And he had reset the brightness somehow on my TV. So as the entity, I would teleport into a house and not be able to see anything. Like, it was just dark, and I would have to find a wall so that the reflection from the lantern I was holding would bounce off the wall, and I could, like, navigate to an exit, hopefully. I couldn't see anything. But you're supposed to, as the entity, be able to see if the hunters step on, like, broken glass or knock over bottles, or if they're running, you'll see a little heartbeat thing. Being the entity, I didn't see that for, like, 90% of the time. I was trying to guess where they were at. Because I couldn't see anything on the map until I was right close to them. So I don't know how Chicken does it. It's probably predictability because he knows our play styles so well. So he kind of knows. Plus, he learns maps way faster than anybody else. So he, like, playing against Chicken, the entity is always, like, right freaking behind you. Playing against any of the rest of us, we don't see him, like, 90% of the time. So.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like, first of all, I didn't realize that it was, that scary for them. And then they're like, man, it sucks when you're playing it because every time I turn the corner or look behind us or look forward, you're literally standing right there. It's like, just because, okay, so your objective is to, as the entity, just kind of go and kill them, but I find that too easy. I always like to challenge myself, so I just fuck with them. Like, I'll just hide behind the tree and just kind of stare at them until they see me, and then I'll just do my little vanish thing and slither away or get behind them, or I'll just sneak up on them real quick and take one away, because you can res in that game, too. Like, when you die, you're not dead for good. You can go to the graveyard and...
So, technically, the character is dead, but because you resurrect it as someone new.
Do you?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because your name changes.
Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, basically, if you die, you get put in this oubliette until your teammates can make it to the cemetery and find the grave with the name in your oubliette on the grave, so that you can get resurrected. Like, I think we had it set for 5. You had 5 chances to resurrect somebody. And not 5 per person, but 5 total across the team.
Yeah. And then we started fucking with the settings. Like, I turned my cooldowns down, and I gave them a lot more, because you've got this flashlight that you can use if the entity runs up on you. You can hit them with it, and it makes them teleport back. Also, one of the reasons why I'm so good at it is because if you pay attention very closely, when you get sent back after they flash you, or you've sucked somebody's soul away, like, you can watch your guy teleport away because it kind of drags you through the air and then sets you somewhere else. If you pay attention very closely to the surroundings as you're flying through the air, you can find your way back to where you were just at. So I'll go back and then I'll instantly hit my speed and I'll sprint right back to him. Or Baka over here, who flashlighted me, and then I instantly teleported back, and they're like, oh, he'll be fine, we got a few minutes, and I come running up the stairs.
Yeah.
Siphon his soul
Yeah,
away.
Red was like, no, we've got a bit, it'll take him a bit to get back. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's got his teleport, and there he was.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Oh,
it's fun for
God.
you. It's hard for the rest of us, though.
I feel like that, like, the paying attention thing I get, but it's also one of those, is there only one map?
Right now, yes. It's an early access game. There will be more. It's just currently there is the one.
I feel like there needs to be almost an animation when that happens, to where you don't know where you're going back to, because somebody like you, you're going to pick up on that quickly. And if other people know to do that, then they're going to do the same thing. But if you eliminate that, then it's like, okay, now that challenge is there to try to get to you, right?
You know what sucks for most people is that everybody who's played this game could probably barely tell you where everything is. I could redraw the entire map from memory right now.
He's so good
because I
at
have the
remembering
entire
where
thing.
things are.
Like, you have the house that leads into behind the church, which leads into the graveyard. The big church, you go around, there's a bridge from the house that leads into the small village that leads to the church, and the orphanage is on the far side. The center church with the van right there, you can go into the church. You go around the corner up the stairs, which will lead to the basement.
Okay, yeah, we got it. We got it.
Okay, we get it.
Like, I have the entire thing memorized. It does not take long for my brain to work like that. Luckily, I do
think they need to switch up the puzzles and stuff like that you were talking about. But it also sounds like, almost sounds like the entity might be a little OP based on who's playing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like I said, when the rest of us were trying it out, like, I think we saw Kat didn't play it. We saw Red and Baka like a couple of times. And that was it. It's because they were doing the same thing where it's like it wasn't showing. I guess the heartbeat thing the entity has to be so close already. And I could, like, the couple of times that I was close enough to them to see the heartbeats, I would end up in, like, these walled off gardens. And I'm like, how do I get out of here to get to where they are? But it didn't help that I couldn't see anything. So I fixed the brightness of the TV. That'll probably
One of the
help.
things you could also do is the entity is you have, because I changed mine to my side mouse button, is that you have a yell, a boo, like a ghost voice that you can use. And if you use it and the players are within so many feet of you, their heartbeat starts beating. So
Yeah.
I just run around and I keep spamming that until I hear a heartbeat. And then you know you're in the vicinity of somebody.
See, I
which, to
did
be
that
fair,
too,
they
but it's because
caught
it was
on
keeping
to
me
it.
company.
They caught on to it later where they started separating, because I know I was killing them in the graveyard while Red was in the orphanage doing the last task. Like that's how you have to adjust your play style. So I give you lots of credit when you were diverting my attention. I didn't realize that there were only 3 of you. I thought there was one person still dead. I should have looked at the
Yeah.
thing. So
Well, we did that. We played Phasmophobia's anniversary was up, and so they've added a bunch of new stuff, and we got to play with all of that stuff, including the disco party in the lobby, which is great.
incredible fun. I cannot wait for Halloween's update. Yeah,
Yeah,
update.
they're asking
So,
for
so
suggestions
good.
on a nightmare mode right now, and I'm just, I don't know if I'm down for a nightmare mode, because one of the suggestions being tossed around is that there is no van, so, like, basically you're in the house the whole time, and I'm like...
And you don't have all your equipment to start. It's spread out around the house, so you've got to...
These are all just suggestions. None of this is,
yeah.
like, confirmed for what it's going to be. It's just people...
It's
So it ends up
good.
being like a Halo multiplayer, essentially, except against the ghost.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm down for that, so we'll see what it actually ends up being. But I think that's all we did as a group for the most part. That's like exciting to talk about. Did you guys do
Baka?
anything individually?
I've been playing Red Dead Online.
Like frack. That's the thing,
Mhm.
is like he's playing Red Dead Online and I am stuck in 2 Point Hospital. So we are just on our own separate cracks right now. So
Then I enabled that by buying her an
Jet Chicken
expansion.
started Diablo 2 crack.
yeah, that just came out. So
Yep,
Mhm.
Red Dead, I've now gotten the Moonshine place fully upgraded for that. I bought a new horse and a saddle, and as soon as I did that, I ran into an asshole player that basically pulled me off the horse, tried to steal my horse, so I pulled out my sawed-off shotgun and shot him in the back and killed him.
yeah.
You know, I think if you whistle for your horse will kick the person off and come back to you.
I just shot him.
That works too.
But he came back and he was so pissed because I guess he was running from the law because he was killing people in town and they were kicking his ass. But I guess he was pissed that I didn't let him take my horse to get out of town. So he kept following me and he kept shooting at my horse specifically and kept incapacitating it. And I kept killing him. And I finally got pissed when he did it the third time, and used my bolas and got him and hogtied him
And just left
and
him.
put his ass in front of a train in front of near roads and let it run over him. And then he stopped after that.
He's like, I don't want to play with that
You
guy
gotta do
anymore.
what you gotta do.
I forgot I played the new Sea of Thieves stuff too, by the way. If you played the vaults, this is what I'll just tell anybody. If you played the vaults where you have to take a thing and then go find your vault, and then you got all the stuff you got to do for it puzzle wise, this one's just basically you show up, there's a space in the water that's purple, you dive down, and each one of them's different, and they're already located on the maps. So but there's a bunch of puzzles and stuff you have to do inside, but there's a shit ton of loot, and they made the loot where other people can't steal it if you do it right, which is you hand it to this the mermaid that's on the inside, that's a mermaid statue. You hand the loot over to it. You can only fit 20 chests in it, but no one can take that away once it's in there. So once you get done with whatever you're doing, you come back up to the top, you go to the regular chest, or not chest, sorry, you go to a regular mermaid that's just got a different hue to them instead of the blue or green or whatever that they normally are. It's like a purplish glow, but you go up to them, you hit the button, and when you do, all of your loot just floats up to the surface, and then you just pile it all together and we use the harpoon to bring it back onto the ship
Louis
as quickly
shooting.
as possible, and then go to where you need to go. So, but they're fun. Some of them there's stuff to do, and some of them there's not. I don't like the ones where there's nothing to do. I like the ones where I feel like I'm there for a purpose. So that's it.
Cool. You want to talk about the news, or did anybody have anything else to add?
I've just
Now
been
that
playing
we're
Diablo 2.
40
Stuck on it.
minutes in. Yeah, you
Uh,
keep swapping back and forth like people do in Halo when we had first gotten the legendary, or legendary, is that what it was? Anniversary edition of Halo 1.
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah,
everybody was
Anniversary.
like addicted to
Yeah.
swapping back and
Like,
forth.
First of all, playing one game for 20 years and then playing it again in a completely remastered form, like, Halo was pretty amazing to look at, but seriously, going from a 2D pixel into a full 3D, like, the way it looks now is the way my brain processed it for 20 years. So going back to what it actually looked like, there's a disconnect in my brain. I have a hard time reconciling that these are, like, this is the old version. This isn't the right version that I was playing. It's like, so I'll just start playing it in old school mode, and then I'll change it back, and it's like just short circuit a little bit.
Too funny.
But there were a lot of complaints because Blizzard servers were shitty, and everyone's complaining. So the first thing I did when I loaded it up is I disconnected my Ethernet cord and loaded it up so that I could make sure that I could play without the internet, because that's a pretty major thing. I usually play offline, so I don't really care about the online stuff. I'm pretty much like the only person that does not care at all for the online stuff. So to me, all the bitching and complaining were a bunch of bandwagoners going, oh my goodness, I need to get out and play, and all the streamers hopping on the bandwagon train or complaining about how it feels old and things like that. It's like, dude, this game is 20 years old.
It's not like they went back and remastered like all the controls and stuff. Like they basically just updated Diablo 2 graphically and
Instead
for
of
the servers and stuff.
It's exactly what I wanted.
They kept it as original as possible. However, with that said, that there are changes with certain things when you go between the old 2D graphics versus the newer ones. But like in Act 2, some of the statues in the tombs and stuff that you explore in the old game, well, you can see the movies. And in the new one, they cover them up.
With fruit? Was it fruit?
Really, you're gonna have to show me, because I need to go back through that to see. Because I know for the boss in the first act, she's full up nudity, and you go back to the 3D graphics, you still got full up nudity. Like, I mean, it is 3-dimensional, full up.
Well, not everything changed, but that just one of the little things here and there. The sorceress, you used to have underboob actually in the older old one.
She did, because she had this like.
And now they have her clothes covering that up a little bit more. People were complaining about the Amazon space.
Yes, the assassin's face, I think, is the main one people were complaining about.
They changed.
Well, the Amazon as well. Right? Like one person I read online said the Amazon space reminded them of William Dafoe.
No. Oh no. We're gonna Google
Then they
it.
were like, no, that just needs to change.
Wow.
Now you can't unsee it, can you?
I'm going to look. Stop it. It was a site that was like, do you want to disable your ad blocker? No, I don't. I mean, that's not exactly Willem Dafoe, but...
No. The full updated graphics are unbelievable. If you're a fan of the game, you're going to have a very difficult choice to make, whether to buy the game or not. There has been... Like, I've seen so many articles, because the director even of the Diablo game was like, you're going to have to make your own choice. Like, you can support the people that have as much passion for this that worked on this, or you can stand by your morals and not buy it based on what's going on at Blizzard. Like, there's just, I've seen so many articles about that specific topic constantly. So I made my choice. It's probably the last thing I'll ever buy from Blizzard, and I can play it offline. So
Yeah.
that's my main thing, is I don't have to worry about BattleNet later on at all. So I could still have access to my game. Plus, I still have the Diablo 2 disc.
So when
that I can
BattleNet
play.
shuts down after all this shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we'll
I'll
figure
still
out
have
a
access.
way so me and him can still play it, though.
I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
it'll
for
be-
sure. I bought it. I better have access to it.
I mean, do you want to talk about the Blizzard news stuff since you're discussing that?
We can.
Cool, let's jump into the news and talk about that stuff. Mostly because I'm dying a little bit, so.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah. Sorry. Like, my health is just garbage now. So, 2 people left Blizzard recently. I would say this week, but I think this is this week and last week.
Yeah, it was this week and last week.
Their chief legal officer quit. Claire Hart, she's been with the company for 3 years, so I'm wondering if it's one of those things where she's like, whoa, you guys, this is not what I signed on for, and I did not know this was happening, so peace out, y'all. Good luck in that
Either
lawsuit.
that, or she actually looked over what they were bringing to the table for the lawsuit and was like, yeah, you guys are fucked.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're fucked. Like, it's pretty obvious that Blizzard, like, they're fucked. There's no other way to put it other than they're just fucked. Like, so all these lawsuits constantly ambushing them.
And I like that they're making it sound so pleasant, because with this one, it's like, we can confirm, like, this is one of the Blizzard statements, is we can confirm that Claire Hart has left Blizzard to pursue other opportunities. You mean she left because you're a dumpster fire? Because the other one,
Right.
the other Blizzard news from the recent times is that Overwatch's executive producer is also leaving. But he's apparently leaving to take some time off, quote unquote. Like, oh. Okay. That's a nice way to say, this is a dumpster fire. And I no longer want to be in flames. So, I just...
All the critters in that dumpster that are smart enough are leaving while they can.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of people that are just abandoning a ship while they still can is crazy to me. Because it's not like this is the first 1 or 2. This is like number 5 and 6 or something like that.
Oh yeah, like
Of people that we know
so
about,
many.
like the bigger names that we know are leaving versus just
This
employees
is like
that are like
15 or 16, because I go all the way back to Jeff Kaplan leaving, Alex Afrasabi leaving, like all these fucking people that have been dipping out, whether because they're pieces of shit that are getting called out, or people that realized that the ship has sprung major leaks and was like, I ain't drowning here, I'm
Yeah.
leaving, and like they called it out. Like even Mike Morheim, like he knew it too when he left, because Activision was really starting to strangle them. He's like, fuck this, I'm out. And he didn't even waste like a year or so. He's like, I'm gonna start up a new company. So Blizzard has been going like slowly going down for a while. It's just that these lawsuits have just busted holes in the side of this ship, and it is going down fast.
Yeah. I just wonder, with the Overwatch one, I kind of wonder what that means for Overwatch 2, because Activision's going to make them kick that game out at some point in the near future. And
They've already started teasing out the new hero reworks.
Yeah, they're talking about all of that stuff, and I imagine that this game is going to be just a pile of hot garbage coming out of a studio that is also hot garbage. So...
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, Diablo 2's more than likely the last game. I've pretty much uninstalled everything Blizzard, except for TBC, Heroes of the Storm, because I love the dev team, and there's like 3 people, and from what I've read, because I've done a little research around that, the Heroes team is a pretty decent team. Like, it's just a lot of people that like their job, and there's not really much. It's mostly the WoW team and some of the senior people.
You know, you're
So,
posting those
I
in
like...
gaming.
What?
Oak's posting the articles in gaming instead of the Respawn.
Oh, that's because it's gaming in mine. Leave me alone.
Nerd.
But yeah, like Heroes, and then WoW Retail and Diablo 2. Like TBC and WoW and Diablo 2 are pretty much the only 2 that I'm playing. Me
And
too,
Burning
of course,
Crusade is just because we'd all made a commitment to other people, not because we give a shit about the company.
Yes, like if I would not have made this, if I was not the one in charge or one of the most critical pieces for these people, I would have left, and I still would be playing Diablo 2. It'd probably be the only thing that I'm playing. But if I did not make the commitment to these people, I would have quit. WoW.
Yeah.
Too.
Same.
It would have been hard, but I would have done it for sure. But I like, these are good people. I'm not gonna just shit on them and say good luck and just ruin their time, because some of us need that kind of socialization or escape from our day to day for that kind of play. So it is what it is. It's a very complicated world that we live in right now.
Do you want to talk about the Apple Fortnite thing before we talk about stage shows and announcements, essentially?
Yeah, we can. A real quick version of this is basically Apple is not going to allow Epic to be on their store because they control their own fucking store. And they said, no, we're still in a lawsuit, you big dumbasses. You can't be on our store. And they said, but you said you would allow us to because that'd be fair. And they said, no, we didn't. We're still in litigation. And as long as things can be appealed, we haven't made a decision yet. So that's what they're doing. And I don't think Epic, you could be looking up to 5 years before this shit's taken care of. So good luck, Fortnite. I mean,
Fortnite will be dead in the water in 5 years. And Apple will be like, sure, bring your hot garbage game back out here. There's going to be like 4 people that play still.
I just think the audacity is so funny. Epic's like, we're going to sue you. And then the lawsuit's starting to come to some sort of like initial resolution, and Epic's like, can we get back on the store now? And Apple's like, fucking really, bro? Really?
It's like they were like, I'm going to sue your ass, but don't worry, it's nothing personal. We could still have coffee afterwards,
right?
The
thing that kills me is Sweeney had the audacity to write a letter to say, we might come back on your app store if you do the following for us.
It's because Tim Sweeney thinks that he owns the universe. Like, that dude is so out there because he thinks that Epic is simultaneously one of the largest companies on the planet and also some sort of independent developer. It's like, you cannot have it both ways, man. You are not one of the little guys, and you're not arguing for the little guys out there. You're arguing for your friggin' bottom line, and your company is huge, but it's not the biggest thing on the planet. Like, you need to come to grips with some reality there, man.
I kind of want Apple to just, like, buy them. Like, go to Tencent, buy the 40% that they've got, and then turn around and be like, hey, we're coming after yours too, because we're worth $1 trillion, you dumbass. Oh, he is just, I don't get it. Like, his mentality is like, you sued me. Why?
Because Tim Sweeney lives in a fantasy world. He lives in a fantasy world where he never does anything wrong and everybody always understands his viewpoint and agrees with it.
Oh my God.
It's fantasy.
Too many people been in the spotlight lately. They have that viewpoint.
Fine. Let's talk about THQ Nordic and their 10th anniversary showcase where they revealed 10 new games. Was it 10?
Spoiler, they didn't show off Darksiders 4.
Yeah. Sugar was super upset. So, I mean, Destroy All Humans 2 is probably the biggest one that they announced, but I think we knew that was coming.
We knew it would be coming. The thing is, I think the SpongeBob one actually got the best response from everybody.
Oh yeah.
Because they're thinking it's gonna be like Battle for Bikini Bottom, where it's just gonna be this great game and everything. I'm hoping Cosmic Shake is, but it's the one that just blows my mind that they're doing after 22 years is Outcast 2, and not because they're doing a sequel to Outcast 2, but it's been 22 years since Outcast. There are people that have never heard of Outcast that are playing games now. How do you make them relate?
There are people that were born after this game was released that have never have any sort of perception of what this is a real thing.
I mean, I've never heard of it. I don't know what it's about. But I mean, if it's an interesting setup and everything, I might be interested to check it out.
I've heard of it, but I never played it actually. I never played the original.
I have it on PC. I've played through parts of it, and it's one of those where like, and I had friends that played it back in the day, but the version I have is because they did a Kickstarter to do a like a remastered version of it, like 5-6 years back, and that's the version I have of it. The controls are horrid, which is part of the reason I stopped playing it. It was so bad, and I'm like, all I was thinking the entire time as I'm seeing this thing is like, okay, first of all, it looks like Avatar. It's secondly, like the worldly design, but I was like, secondly, it is one of those where it's like, please tell me the controls are better. That's all I need to know.
That's like, if the worst part about your game is bad controls, perfect. That is so easy to fix. You just remap things and redesign on how your character uses the controls. That's an easy fix. If your game sucks just all around, that's a lot harder to fix.
One of the other ones that I had never heard of, the predecessors to, was Jagged Alliance 3. And I'm only slightly interested in it because the original Tropico developers are helping out with it. So, if it plays like Tropico, I might be there, you know? Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it plays. I know that
it's gonna play
Wolfwood
like,
was in my chat the other day and said that he had friends that played it, but he never had.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of Superpower either, but Superpower 3 is one of the other ones. It's like, they were like, what's the older part of our catalog that we can hit up? You think people are nostalgic for these games? Oh, let's try it anyway.
See, THQ Nordic's model for how they design games is so good, because these games are like cult hits or really like specific audiences. You don't have to make AAA perfectly flawless games. You just got to do a AA, really like well done, and have it feel like the prequels. Boom! Your cult audience is going to be like, sign me up, I'm in, and then that will trickle out from that audience into just a slightly bigger one. And THQ Nordic's like, that's exactly what we want. Like, we're not trying to create the next Halo or the next Call of Duty. We do a cult classics, sequels. And that's the market we're trying to hit, because they're not going up against Sony or Microsoft or anything like that. They're just kind of hitting the fringes.
Yeah, Baka's right. There was no Timesplitters announcement, which honestly at this point, like, if they're not working on that in the background somewhere,
they still have 23 games. I think it was 23
28.
games. 28 games they have not announced that they are still working on. So there are still 28 of these fringe games.
They said out of 42 games. That's the one that kills me. It was like 28 out of 42 we still haven't told you about. I'm like, what? I want to know all of them. Tell me.
Like, man, THQ Nordic's got to have a shitload of investment just to have almost 60 games in development at all times.
I think this was like, and they also announced a sequel to the 2017 game Elix, which I have friends that played it and really liked it. I haven't personally played it. I think I played, watched people play it at PAX a few years back too, the demo of it, but. I mean, for 10th anniversary, I think this was lackluster, if I'm honest.
Expeditions Rome and MX versus ATV Legends were the other two from this little announcement. It's like, I've heard of MX versus ATV, but I don't really know anything much about it. And Expeditions Rome, I don't know. It's a tactical turn-based RPG.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Baka?
He forgot.
You were gonna say something, and then everybody just
sorry.
always interrupted
you. Baka's so quiet that sometimes I don't hear him.
You gotta look at him so that you can see when he wants to interject. Everyone's just like,
I'm also trying to look at the article we're covering there, sir.
What?
I am not a loud person.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why I always try to give you
to my second monitor, because I'm the same thing with Oak. I was looking at the article. I wasn't looking at my window here, so I'm sorry.
Oh, now I remember.
Yes.
As long as each game is making a profit, though, they should be okay. Like,
yeah,
exactly.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, well, we spent $1 million in this title, and we expect $20 million out of it.
Yeah. Something like,
as long as they make their money back plus a bit more.
See, that's why they consider Darksiders 3 a success, is that it sold the copies it needed and a little bit more and the DLC afterwards, and they're like, perfect. It made its money back. We'll go ahead and make another one then. Like, that's what THQ Nordic is, and that is why I like them so much more than other companies. It's like, yeah, we need to sell this game, we need to make a huge profit margin, and then we need to siphon even more money out of it as much as we can, like Sims. Which, if you buy Sims 4, the entire collection, it's like $1,200.
You know what? I feel like Microsoft's doing that same model though with the companies they're purchasing. Not necessarily the ones they already have, but the ones that they purchased. They like I feel like they're trying to look at it and go, you run this, we're gonna make sure that it's the quality that it needs to be, but as long as we make some money off of it and you pay the bills at the end of the day, we're good to go. Type deal.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I could agree with that. Like, and they're also really lucky that they can use their Game Pass as their early access program too, where they can kind of get their game out a little earlier and let people play test it, build up a little hype around it, and they have such a big platform that when a game is ready to come out, they're like, advertisement, get ready. Grounded's been really, really quiet for a long time. Like, they did the Shroom and Doom, and then it's just kind of floated under the radar for a while. So hopefully when they're like getting ready to do something, because it's like that where you poke it with a stick, come on, do something. do something.
wow.
I think they said though that they said that one's going to take a little while for the next one after they did that they weren't going to do as many updates in a row. They were going to wait longer between updates when they did that one. So which I think is nice. I mean, they've done that with Sea of Thieves as well. They've waited longer between major updates. So,
well, a company that is doing something, I guess, is Nintendo. They had their Nintendo Direct this week, and there was some interesting stuff out of it. Like, people that are big Animal Crossing fans have been asking for content for that game for like freaking ever now. And Nintendo's like, nah, man, we get that you're enjoying it. Leave us alone. Well, apparently, Brewster is going to come to the game in their new update, which has no release date. They're like, yeah, well, Brewster's coming. Cool, everybody likes Brewster. We'll tell you about it in October.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Hey, at least they're getting something. I'm part of the Animal Crossing subreddit. Let me tell you, those people were like sipping on that Kool-Aid something hard.
Yes.
Like, it was just straight up. I'm like,
that is a thirsty sub that needs some
It felt like the Lions subreddit right there. It's like, I don't care, I'm all in.
There's a lot of stuff that's being moved over to the Switch. Like, Disco Elysium is going to be coming to Switch. And then I think there was like a couple other things that they're like, and this will be coming to Switch. And at this point, if you're surprised that something's getting ported to this platform, why? Why?
Okay, since we're on the ported part of it, because they went ahead, everybody knew it was coming too, since they just re-upped the patent on the 64 controller. Everybody knew it was coming, and they went ahead. Of course Nintendo did it, but they're adding an expansion pass or an additional pass to their Nintendo Online service, and it will include the library for the Nintendo 64, which everybody fucking lost their minds for. It's a smaller library. I think there's like 12 games to start off. But the part that, like, I was watching chat that just destroyed chat entirely was when they announced they're releasing the Sega Genesis games with it. Like, that was a nice surprise. And then they're like, yeah, we've got a 64 controller so that everybody can feel like they're playing the old school games. Oh, by the way, here's the Sega Genesis controller too, so you can play all those games too.
Nintendo's raking in the cash right now.
Just so some people have an idea of the lineup for that, the Nintendo 64 launch lineup, some of the highlights is going to be Super Mario 64. So if you already bought the anniversary edition like I did, you now have an online version if you didn't. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So they do have a Zelda game in there. Mario Kart 64, which was my first introduction into Mario Kart, and I absolutely love that one. I've spent many of hours into it. Dr. Mario 64. I don't know how that one entails to. I know that Grif is a big Dr. Mario fan. So, for the Sega Genesis, you've got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Echo the Dolphin, One of the Castlevania games, which is Bloodlines. I know that's Baka's thing. And that's really, it looks like they got one Shinobi game. Shinobi 3 is going to be in there. Upcoming games that they've already announced, Banjo-Kazooie is a big one. Pokemon Snap is going to be on there. They're bringing Majora's Mask as well. And then Kirby 64. Was Kirby 64 3D like Mario 64 was, or do we know?
I don't know.
I think it was.
I think it was.
Okay, so the new Kirby game that they announced is not the first one to be in that format.
It was 3D.
It was 3D? Okay.
It was 3D.
Mario Golf, Paper Mario, which I know somebody here that's one of his favorite games.
I saw that and I was like, I'm ready.
Yep.
Okay, now I know what I was gonna say.
So they've got lots of good games that they've announced for that. I was excited for that as well because my kids playing games that I enjoy when I was young is always fun for me. But something like that's going to be really fun. And actually, when the Paper Mario game comes out, I'm actually going to play it with the kids because I never got to play it, and it's your favorite game. So I was like, this would be a good time for us to kind of play it together and enjoy it that way.
I will give you 100% a bit of advice. Playing that game helped my coordination significantly because a lot of the special parts of it are timing. And you know, you play through that game, you get really good at it. So it kind of helps your coordination and timing abilities. But what I was going to say is that, first of all, I know Nintendo's not very good with their online services and whatnot, but when they were like, yeah, you could play Mario Kart 64 on, you know, co-op and whatnot, but you can also play it online. Which, first of all, you guys suck at your Mario Party games being online at all. But you're going to let me play a game from the 64 online with my friends? All right, cool. We got this. We're good.
To be fair, I think they realized their mistake when they did that because...
They did fix it, for the record.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good to see Nintendo going, we'll give you these old school games, and we're going to give you the capabilities to play with your friends online in these old school games.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down with it.
Well, in addition to the old school games, we got our first look at Bayonetta 3, which there's discussion on what the actual deal is with that because they changed the voice actors and slightly changed how Bayonetta looks a little bit. So lots of theory crafting going on right now with the teaser that they sent out for that. There's a new Kirby game.
Her first line kills me though, because her first line is something like, is basically, I know you've been waiting on me, but I'm here now, or something like that, to that degree.
Yeah.
Or you've been waiting a while, he's here. And it's a line from the actual game, but they did it for there because all of us have been like, when are you going to talk about this game again? And and so it was just kind of good timing on their part.
Take your time. I need to see a hat trick from Bayonetta. Like, I need to see the 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. Like, give me 3 games, full 10 out of 10s, and you've got yourself the near perfect trilogy.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was really enjoying 2, and then I beat it, and like the curve of enjoyment of that game is like, yeah, really good, and then when you get to the end, it just skyrockets, and you're like, yeah, that's why I got a 10 out of 10 because this game is so fucking good. Yeah. Holy shit, story's really good, and then it gets great.
Do you think like let's say you have a very good story, right? But then you also have to deal with the gameplay, innovate the gameplay a little bit, like between 1 and 2, and now you're having to do 2 and 3. Do you think part of the decision to be an exclusive to the Switch was to keep those numbers as high? Because if they'd put it on anything else, then is a possibility of like trying to port it to 2 different types of Xboxes, 2 different types of PlayStations, and a PC could end up screwing up those numbers?
Maybe. Like, it would. I think it's easier for companies to develop something specifically for one. And I'm sure the Cyberpunk is a great example of how terrible development can be when you try to spread it across so many.
Yeah, two generations of 2 different consoles and then a PC version. Yeah, it just got...
Yeah, like Platinum Games is like, we making it for the Switch, and it's going to look good.
Yeah.
And it's going to run good, and the controls will fit perfectly. and then we'll port it later. Like once it's out and it's got its heels stuck in, then we'll
see
go
what
ahead
you
and
did there, buddy.
then we'll
I see
port
what
it
you
somewhere
did there.
else. So I'm excited. I am so ready for some Bayonetta 3, but they can take their time as long as they want.
They got a couple announcements this week that I was really excited about. Knights of the Old Republic comes out November the 11th. The original Knights of the Old Republic comes out November the 11th on Switch. And I'm like, yes, I can lay in bed and play Knights of the Old Republic. I'm cool with that. I absolutely loved the first two of those. And then Grif is the one that sent this one into a thing and tagged me. And that was the well, I'm a big Disney fan, and my favorite game of all time is The Lion King, and so they've redone The Lion King and Aladdin, and every version of the games are basically inside the new release that just came out this week too. So
yes.
For
Yeah,
the record,
I was about to say they did something like that, not like a year or two ago. It was Aladdin and Lion King together on the Switch.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before about those games, but those games were intentionally made difficult so that you couldn't beat them in a single renting session. So the developers came out and said that and then apologized for it. So now that you can have them, you could, since renting is no longer a thing as much, I guess. Game Pass is
beat
still
Aladdin in a weekend.
Yeah, but you are not an average gamer. Unless you consider yourself average.
No.
Okay, my point is that they made it difficult for the average gamer to not be able to beat.
Both versions of Aladdin, because one weekend I got the Super Nintendo version and beat it. Then the next weekend I got the Sega Genesis version, went through that, and then I did the same thing with the Lion King games. Although I will say the pain in the ass part is when I can't wait to be king part where you have to jump on all the animals and that shit is annoying.
And that, my friends, is
the
what I like to
ostrich part was
call
artist for me.
a humble brag.
Yeah. And then quite possibly one of the things that got the most talk about it is not exactly gaming related, but it came from Nintendo Direct, which is the announcement for some of the cast in the Mario movie with Chris Pratt as Mario and Charlie Day as Luigi. Somebody please explain to me in what universe we are living in. Please.
Okay, first of all, Jack Black is Bowser, Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Like,
Keegan-Michael Key is gonna be Toad, which I think is just perfect. Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach.
Isn't he like the tallest of the group, and he's playing the shortest character?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean,
It's an animated movie.
yeah, it's gonna be.
Yes, it's full animated.
These are gonna be their
But
voice actors.
Otherwise, I'd be like.
The theory going around is that they're going to go like Jumanji style, where the people get sucked into the video game world, and that's why their voices are different. So it kind of creates like they did with Detective Pikachu, where Pikachu sounded normal, and then he got Ryan Reynolds' voice, and there was a reason behind that. So I guess the same principle, which will help make it a little bit easier to digest instead of just Mario sounding like Chris Pratt for some reason.
My brain's gonna have a hard
So
time.
Jack Black's in yet another Jumanji movie?
Yes,
is what
pretty
you're
much.
saying?
Yes.
If you go that route, then does Jack Black just come in and go, okay, well I'm Bowser, so I'm gonna go against the rest of you.
I mean,
that would set up his personality perfectly. Like, oh, cool, I'm Bowser. I get to be the bad guy. Let's do this. Like, come on, you had the perfect personality for it. And to be fair, in a lot of games too, Bowser works alongside everybody too. I think in one of the Mario, the Super Paper Mario, the original Paper Mario, he is one of your companions.
Actually, there was a game before that.
Yeah, like there are times where Bowser
Mario,
works with everybody.
The Mario RPG on Super Nintendo.
That's the one I think I'm talking about. The Super Paper.
Whatever it is. It's not
Super
Paper Mario. It's the predecessor to
Paper Mario. Yes.
Right.
But they were not paper characters in that one. It was done by Squaresoft or Square Enix.
Super
That's
Mario
what it's called now.
RPG
Yeah.
Legend of the Seven Stars.
Yeah, yes.
That one, yes. Like there are times where Bowser, so he's not necessarily the bad guy.
Well,
but
the
also,
main reason he joins your side in that one is because there's a bigger bad, and he's like, no, I'm the bad guy around here.
exactly. So, I mean, also they have like this is not a Mario movie because they also have characters from other Nintendo IPs too in it. So it feels more like it's going to be a Nintendo movie and not just a Mario movie.
So we're talking about the old school Captain N.
Maybe.
He'll be getting a surprise cameo, is what they said. By the way, the original voice of Mario. So.
Well, they said that he's got a lot of different roles, a lot of different voices in there. So he is.
Oh,
he's
surprise
still there.
cameos, plural. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, he's still there, and he's still gonna have his voice, which makes me wonder if he's gonna be the original voice of Mario when the movie starts, and then somehow Chris Pratt is going to take him over.
Wow.
I'm wondering if Jack Black, like if you're doing the realistic world being sucked into the video game world thought process, if Jack Black is like corporate asshole guy, right? That they're like battling for some reason in the real world, and then everybody gets sucked in and he ends up becoming the bad guy into that world. So you already don't like the guy essentially, and then he becomes Bowser at the end type deal. So maybe.
I mean, it's got. I'm interested. It's coming out November or December 2022.
Yeah, it's
So-
next
a year from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So
still got a little
I'm
while.
interested.
We've got some time. We'll see how the trailer looks on it, and we'll get a better idea. Hopefully they don't do the Sonic route where we're gonna try to make him look super realistic, and it just.
Hey, the remade version of Sonic looks really good. The original version of Sonic looks really, really terrible and
To be
off-putting.
fair, that movie wasn't that bad either. The
I
Sonic
watched
movie,
it.
like, after we got done.
I enjoyed it. Like
Jim
it gave
Carrey
me-
is what made that movie.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, like you put Jim Carrey in something, especially in an eccentric role like that, and you definitely have the right actor for it. I don't know if anybody else could have carried Dr. Eggman as well as he did.
Mm-mm.
And he did a really good job.
Well, we got anything else
Anything
we want
else?
to talk about?
I mean, Chris Pratt is Mario. What else do you want?
Yeah, like that's where you just gotta leave things. You can't really.
I mean, I don't know where else to go from there.
That's where you go. Fair enough. We appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Slynum.
Check out Chicken.
Had Elite Chicken through and through.
I could barely hear you. Like I heard like
Me?
zzz. That's all I heard at the end, and I was like, am I saying this right or not? Check out Baka.
Baka Pickle.
Also, make sure you go to Grif's YouTube channel where she's got all this stuff over years that you need to watch. Go to that.
Yeah.
It's
It'll be
there.
coming back
Watch
soon.
it. It's when she's feeling better and she's not dead, like she is right now in
And
those
like last.
particular videos. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313 Chicken. It's fall. How close?
Technically, hopefully next month. We'll slow down.
Next month, you mean like next
start
week?
having more
'Cause
free
October
time.
1st is Friday.
Yeah,
Just saying.
we'll be having more free time here soon. Because there's a DLC for Ghost of Tsushima that needs to be played.
Which means a replaying of the whole game, in case you.
Yep, I gotta redo 100% of the whole game. Oh well.
That's hard. You
Yeah.
poor man. I know how bad that is just to have to go through. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where you can check me out just about every day of the week. Sundays I am on YouTube, so you can check me out there as well. And see my videos that I have from my streams on Sundays. So check me out there. Ready to Respawn. I'm Oaktree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
He's Baka.
Wait. I didn't hear Grif go.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know
what-
if
I was
anyone
like-
can hear me.
She did say it. It's just that it was like really quiet.
Whatever. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go do
I
that.
didn't hear it. I was like, we skipped Grif. What?
See, that was the problem I had with the last
You gotta watch
part.
the
Okay.
video. Apparently.
Okay, who are you?
I'm Baka.
Okay.
Well,
There we go.
I
See ya.
guess the name fits.